So a brand new high round strategy has just been found on Terminus and it nets you an insane amount of salvage. Let's get right into it. First of all, I'm going to cover the augments that you need to run this strategy, as if you have the incorrect ones on, it's actually going to be impossible to run this strat. So first of all, I'd recommend Hardened plates on Jugger-nog, and reactive armor is actually quite good for this strategy too. The next one is going to be carry-on luggage, and this is a minor augment on Vulture. This is going to really help maximise the amount of salvage you gain throughout this strategy, and it's going to help you retire or a mangler strategy earlier on in your game. Also, Parting Gift is going to be really useful for this, so you never need to buy ammo for your wonder weapon, but it's really not that necessary. And then finally, the last augment you need in order to run this strategy is going to be Dead Again. You need this augment. Without this augment, it is impossible to run this strategy, so this augment is a must. Alright, now moving on to the strategy. So if you see my strategy guide yesterday showcasing the salvage gaining strategy, which was basically just slowing down the zombies with the beam smasher and then headshotting them all whilst they're slowing, this is just a much better version of that. You get more salvage off doing this and the round goes by a lot faster. So what you want to do in order to do this is get your wonder weapon on low ammo. Then I'd recommend at the beginning of the round weakening some zombies. That way the explosion from the wonder weapon when it runs out of ammo is able to kill the zombies straight away. From this point, once the explosion on your wonder weapon happens, that explosion damage is going to actually count as critical kills, headshotting all the zombies around you, and then this is where the Deadshot augment comes into play, because critical hits have a chance of adding a bullet to your magazine. So from that point, all you have to do is cancel your reload, and then you'll be able to pull out your wonder weapon again with only about 1 or 2 shots in, empty the mag and get another explosion, and just keep chaining this back to back to back. Now there are going to be a couple ways in order for you to skip the reload, and the main way I like to use is just by switching weapons and then switching back again. But you have to be careful, because if you do this too fast, then you'll skip the benefit from the Dead Again augment, which adds a bullet to your magazine, but because you won't have a weapon in your hand, it just won't do it. And then if you do it too slow, the game would have already begun the reload animation, and then from that point it'll be too late for you to cancel the reload, and then you'll just have to empty the full mag of ammo again in order to continue doing this. So because of this, in order to do this consistently, I would recommend switching weapon about half a second after you run out of ammo in your wonder weapon, and then from that point you can switch back to your wonder weapon whenever you'd like. There's no time constraints in that one. It may seem a little bit tricky to get the timing down at first, but once you get used to it, you'll be able to do it consistently, no problem. If you do find yourself in the situation where you've messed this up and you need to empty the full mag of your wonder weapon in order to get back to this strategy, there are a few ways to go about doing this. The first I've already done in this round if you want to go back and check it out. Basically all I done was I just slowed down the zombies once I finished my reload and went back to just slowing them down and shooting the beam at the heads and getting kills that way. Also, if you want to do it a safer way, you can throw a decoy or a Casimir grenade, whatever your tactical grenade is, and then get rid of your ammo that way. You could use a kill streak too. You're probably going to get one at the end of the round from the manglers anyway, so you could just burn a kill streak, or you could just pop an Ether Shroud. Now if everything goes well, you should be able to net yourself a lot of salvage doing this strategy. If you do this all the way up until round 100, you should be able to get about 100,000 salvage, and I've heard if you do this all the way up to round 200, you'll end up with about 400,000 salvage, which is insane. And I would like to give a quick shout out to the official Dkal. I believe he was the first one to figure out that you can use Dead Again to reactivate the wonder weapon's explosion over and over, and then Silianos for perfecting the strategy. Both of their links are going to be down in the description, so be sure to check them out. Now I am going to give you a few quick tips for this strategy, and the first is going to be putting on armor plates during this strat. You can actually use armor plates to skip the wonder weapon's reload animation, and the timing's actually really generous for this, so it's quite easy to do. All you gotta do, whenever you see the wonder weapon's ammo about to hit 0, just put on an armor plate. It doesn't really matter if you're a second too early or a second too late. Like I said, the timing's quite generous, so this is my preferred way of putting on armor throughout the strategy. The next tip is going to be dealing with the zombies that get clogged up outside the door. This severely slows down the strategy, and it's typically caused by a bunch of vermin outside the door, so all you gotta do is just jump up in the air. So you throw the grenade over the zombies' heads that are in front of you and then blow them all up with a Semtex. An impact grenade is really good for this too. Just whatever you can get your hands on. I prefer Semtexes because you can hold 5 of them, you can only hold 3 impact grenades. And as you can see, you just wipes them all out straight away. Another tip is going to be dealing with the parasites. They're actually going to be immune to the wonder weapon's explosion because they're above the hitbox, so whenever you get an opportunity, you just quickly pull out your Mustang and Sally and take them out that way. Or if you have plenty of ammo in your beam smasher, you can just take them out with that wonder weapon too. Otherwise, just leave them till the end of the round and then you can take them out at the end of the round. The last thing I'm going to show you about the strategy is going to be dealing with the Amalgams. You can just pull out a kill streak and take them out that way, but honestly the explosion from the wonder weapon is actually really good at taking them out. If you slow down the Amalgam first with the wonder weapon, they take like 4 times the amount of damage from the wonder weapon whilst they're slowing down, so it only takes about 6 explosions from the wonder weapon to take out an Amalgam. I believe a zombie, when they're slowing down, it only takes 2 explosions, an armoured zombie's 3, and I think a mangle is about 5. So really you can just take out anything apart from parasites using this wonder weapon's explosion. As you can see, I'm taking down the second Amalgam now, and it's no problem whatsoever. Both Amalgams fell without a kill streak. And finally, you should have been able to do this strategy for long enough to build up enough salvage to fulfill your retirement plan of spamming mutant injectors inside this wonder weapon room to get all the way to whatever your round goal is. If you want a full in-depth high round strategy guide for this map, then you can check out the one I made yesterday. Unfortunately, at the time of making that video, I didn't actually know about this strategy that I'm showcasing in this video, but everything else in that video can still apply to your high round game. I cover the early rounds, the most efficient way to use certain kill streaks, and the fastest parasite round spot, so I'll pin that video in the comments section. And that's going to be it from me, so if this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.